Greetings, subtle, impressionable, imaginative Pisces. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader, and now I am going to do the January 2021 astrology and tarot forecast video for the sign of Pisces. I am going to begin with a tarot reading, and then in the second half of the video, I'm going to talk about broad strokes of the planetary transits for January 2021. And I encourage you to follow me on my Instagram page, astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole, because there I will continue the conversation that I begin here, filling in the details as the transits unfold. And I talk about the daily transit with the moon's fluctuations in my stories. And then in the feed, I talk about the planetary ingresses and big transits that are happening. So follow me there. But in the meantime and in between time, watch the video for your sun and your rising here. Both will be applicable, especially your rising for the second half of the video, because that lets you know which houses of the zodiac all of your planets are in. So as we enter the month of January, Pisces, we see the Five of Cups reversed. So it looks like you are healing from a disappointment, possibly a loss, and you are turning around in gratitude and appreciating the full cups in your life rather than focusing on the disappointment or the loss. And you were covered by the Two of Swords reversed. So it looks like there might be someone or something in your environment that has suddenly become clear to you or exposed or revealed in some way. And you were crossed by the Six of Cups. And so this has to do with a dear friend or possibly, just someone who you have very a close emotional connection with. And the basis of the situation, the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So we see that there is a woman who has financial or business concerns in January. And what's leaving is the King of Pentacles. And this is a man who has to do with money, finance, business. Could be an earth sign man like a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, but could just be a man who's very practical, business-minded, something like that, wealthy, maybe. What could come into being? The Five of Pentacles. So this is around mid-month. This could be a financial or spiritual injury of some kind. It's not necessarily you. It could be someone around you, or it could be you. What will come into being is the Eight of Cups. So this has to do with seeking. It's like you have a lot of full cups in your life, and you are going to be seeking that which is the missing cup, the one thing to complete the picture. Fears or insecurities. Looks like it has to do with love and romance, or maybe around your relationship or your lover, or maybe if you're single, it has to do with the idea of finding the kind of love you want. Others see you as the Hanged Man reverse. So you're changing your perspective. You're looking at things in a new way. Positive feelings, the Nine of Swords. There's something that you have been obsessing about, maybe stressing about for a long time, but you will be having very positive feelings about it towards the end of the month. And then the outcome is the Eight of Wands reversed. So it looks like at the end of the month, you are pausing, you are halting, you are not moving forward. You may be canceling, postponing, or delaying travel plans, or just, stopping everything and taking a break. So that is the Pisces Tarot overview. And then as far as the planets, I'm going to quickly go through them. Mars enters Taurus. It's entering your third house of communication. And Mars and Taurus, while you may be wanting to charge ahead in this area of your life in some way, the Taurian energy is going to be requiring a real methodical, slow, patient approach. You may feel like there are things in this life that are immovable, or you may encounter stubborn individuals in this area. And this third house is a significant house for you this month. And the third house can mean different things on different levels. One level of the third house is communications, and that's all kinds of communications, from how we speak, how we listen, how we learn, how we write. But it's also, it can be our neighbors or our neighborhood. It can also be our siblings, and it can also be elementary school or high school. So any of those areas in your life can be touched by this Mars energy this month. And Mars is going to really be up to things in that area of your life in January. January 8th, Mercury enters Aquarius. Mercury enters Aquarius. It will be moving into your 12th house. And this is the house of hidden karma. It's the house of, it can be called, the ancients called it the house of hidden enemies. It can be the house of your blind spot, things that you can't see. It can have to do with things that you avoid or repress. It can also have to do with mental health. And so Mercury entering that house, it could mean that you or someone close to you can be dealing with mental health issues. It could also be someone sharing a secret with you. It could be secrets in general amongst a group of people, because there's a lot gathering in there. So it's an interesting time with everything for Pisces kind of gathering in that 12th house. And it's a good time to actually, I think, really get to know the 12th house. The best way to the 12th house is a daily meditation practice, a daily prayer practice, and some kind of spiritual routine and daily mental health routine. And it doesn't have to be any grand thing that you spend like hours a day on, but it's just like, you spend like 10, 15 minutes every morning doing, your meditation, your prayers, some like reading some texts, spiritual texts maybe, that inspire you or ground you or soothe you, because 12th house periods, they can be difficult, they can be sublime. And I encourage you to contact me directly for a reading to talk more about that, because I don't want to go too much down that rabbit hole right now. But it is an important house for you, because you are kicking off a new 20-year era of your life in that house. And this year Jupiter will be expanding there, and for the next couple of years Saturn will be there, really having you take on more responsibilities in this area, face realities in this area. So it is an interesting time, for Pisces. It is a time of a lot of growth and an opportunity to really connect to spirit and source. Let's see, January 8th, Venus moves into Capricorn. When Venus moves into Capricorn, it's moving into your 11th house of friends. This can mean that a girlfriend in your life who is very practical, hardworking, serious, she's going to be playing a major theme for the rest of the month. And it could be a sister or a female friend. And let's see, January 12th is the new moon in Capricorn. And the new moon in Capricorn also in your 11th house of friends, groups, organizations. New moons are incredibly rich and fertile cosmic soil to plant the seeds of intention that we want to manifest in life. This new moon is in Capricorn, so it's particularly great for planting seeds around Capricorn themes of money, business, and ambitions. But because it's in your 11th house specifically, for you, it's also good for themes around friendships, organizations, and groups. January 14th, Uranus goes direct. Uranus goes direct in your 3rd house of communication, also the house of siblings or neighbors or elementary school or high school or short trips or journeys. Anyway, Uranus going direct in that house, it can bring a shakeup mid-month. It can bring a plot twist, a shakeup, a disruption, a rebellion, the unexpected, a sudden revelation or insight, a sudden invention, things like that. progress, like, unexpected, quick lightning bolt progress, things like that. So that is happening there. And just in general, that, again, that house with Mars and Uranus there, it can be volatile too in January. January 15th, Mercury pre-shadow begins. So Mercury does not go retrograde until January 30th. However, because the pre-shadow begins January 15th, I encourage you, if you have any contracts to sign, surgeries to schedule, important discussions to have, important emails to send, any like important new thing you want to start, any tickets you need to book or travel plans you want to make, do it in the first 2 weeks of January. That is when communications are crystal clear. The second 2 weeks of January, we start to get into murky, cloudy area where things can get confused or, glitches can happen. And then by the time we get into February, I expect that technology and communications and mental health and all kinds of things will be going kind of completely haywire for those first 3 weeks of February. Sorry to say it, but that's what it looks like in the planets. Anyway, January 17th, Jupiter squares Uranus. That is your 12th house, the house of hidden karma and the house of communication. So there could be unexpected news for you that creates some kind of sudden liberation or sudden expansion of new horizons. The Jupiter square Uranus thing is really a very interesting aspect historically, what it represents. I encourage you to watch my video that I did for the full overview of 2021. I did one video for all the signs. It's a bird's eye view of 2021. I talk about where all the Mercury retrogrades are. I talk about some of the signature characteristic planetary alignments that really give 2021 its personality and distinct character. So definitely watch that, because I go into more detail about this Jupiter square Uranus and what it's meant in history. But you see like records being broken, iconic cultural moments, rebellions, so it's a really interesting time. And even though it forms exact January 17th, it will color the entire year in some way. January 19th, Vesta goes retrograde. For you, this is in the house of marriage and relationships, and this could also mean your business partnerships. And in the November 2020 forecast videos, I talked about it when Vesta moved in there, how over that 6-month period, basically from November to June, you have an invitation from Vesta to, really reflect on what it is that you are devoted to in this area of your life, what is sacred to you, to nurture that, to give attention to that, to cultivate that. So this retrograde moment is going to bring attention. January 19th, the sun enters Aquarius. Again, this is in your house of hidden karma. So as the Aquarius sun moves through there, January 19th through 18th, it's going to be bringing more light to these issues that are going to be themes of the next 20 years for you in this house. And again, this house has so many broad things that it represents, but the ancients called it the house of hidden karma, the house of hidden enemies, the house of self-undoing. It can be the house of your blind spot. Addiction is in this house. Mental illness is in this house. What else is in this house? It rules confined spaces like jails, institutions, but also monasteries, retreats, ashrams, being alone, things like that. So, over the next 20 years, it could touch on several of these areas for you, or just one of these areas for you, or some combination of these areas. And sometimes it's a more direct experience like you, or sometimes it's someone so close to you, or people so close to you, or something that you're working in, or that you're involved with. And so there are many different ways that it can manifest, but I definitely encourage you to really get to know the 12th house, get familiar with it, because it can be a very issues of powerlessness and power are explored there. But it can be a very a sublime energy to work with when you really get to know that house well, and when you're having major aspects there. And let's see, January 26th, Neptune squares the nodes, and this has been building since October. This is a very otherworldly energy. Pisces is normally kind of attuned to that kind of Neptunian vibe. And basically, you may not be able to see it because, again, it's Neptune, which is kind of in the unseen realm, and Neptune can kind of have that fogness and mysticism around it anyway. And then it's the nodes, the lunar nodes, which aren't lights, they're points, but they're karmic points. And so this is a karmic turning point that's unfolding. You may not be able to see it physically in the physical realm at this moment. However, the astrology is saying that it involves your house of self with your house of career and attainment, which can also just be your house of reputation, and the house of home. And that 10th house can also be, the parents' axis, the father and the mother, when you're dealing with that realm. So, and the 4th house also has so many deeper roots, legacy, ancestors, wealth, land, real estate. So, deep house, such an important time for Pisces to get readings right now, so contact me. January 28th is the Leo full moon. The Leo full moon will be in your 6th house. This is the house, so it's going to bring illumination to health and fitness, things around your daily routine, things around where you're of service in the world. It can be around your staff and employees, where that's applicable, or around coworkers. This is a dramatic full moon. It's a passionate full moon. It's an energetic full moon. It's also opposing everything in your 12th house. So there's themes of like physical health, mental health, lots going on with that full moon. Very dynamic time. And then January 30th, Mercury goes retrograde, which is going to be in that 12th house for you. So, Mercury retrograde in Aquarius can bring technical difficulties, technology breakdowns. It can bring mental health breakdowns. It can bring communication breakdowns, backwards thinking. In the 12th house, it can be secrets being exposed or information being exposed from technology or the internet, all that kind of stuff. So, the 12th house can have a real underworld feel to it too. Sometimes it represents, underworld type of topics or underworld type of people can be around. Just be mindful. It's all, for spiritual lessons in progress. And so it's important to tune in and, don't, Pisces, I would advise, be careful with addiction and escapism during this time. And that's it for now. If you like this video, give me a like. If you didn't like it, give me a don't like, but I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please share this with other Pisces Please leave me feedback in the comments. Follow me at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole, where I will continue the conversation and go into more detail about these transits. And please have a wonderful January. Thank you so much for joining me, Pisces.